some questions to question you. How would you describe in your own words the last album of Circle to Circle?
Well, we try to make every album a lot different because I get bored, and I really tell my guys, let's do it different. Let's really reach. Let's have some great music, but let's don't make it sound the same as the other albums. So, Delusions of Grandeur is just another kind of step in that direction. It has a lot of different musical feel in one album. You've got emotional stuff like Echoes, and then you've got kind of mysterious stuff like Dead of Dawn, and then you've got these metal anthems like Forever, you know. So it's neat. It's not a concept album. It kind of, I guess if you listen to it from beginning to end, the way we put the songs in the order, it sounds like it could kind of be a concept album, but that's just the way it turned out. We didn't really go in saying, you know, because we had Burden of Truth, which was a concept album, but
is it the bestseller of all?
Yeah, as far as I know, yeah.
Yes.
As far as I know,
It's the bestseller.
it's an aggressively mixed album. We used we had done the 3 previous albums at Morrisound, which is a studio in Tampa, very nice studio, one of the best studios in the whole southeastern of the United States, which we had done a few Sabotage records there in the past, Handful of Rain, and Edge of Thorns. So I said, to make the record different, let's do a different studio this time, just to try to change the sound up. So we went to Orlando to a guy named Jay Stanley, and it's called JS Productions, and it's his house. He's a guy who has a lot of money, you know, he's kind of a big producer. So he's got this 5,500 square foot home. The whole second floor is a studio. We recorded the drums in the living room, and he goes, point the kit to the corner of the room. So we pointed the bass drum to the corner of the room. Psh, beautiful. So it was very different, and you can see the mix is a little bit different on that, kind of aggressive, a little bit more aggressive mix. But you know, those kind of things you have to do to really make the, you know, I guess the perception of the sound different. This time we may go back to Morrisound. We may even try letting the guys will basically record their tracks for the next album at home, because everybody has a great studio now. Everybody's got a Pro Tools rig. So I guess that's kind of what makes the Delusions of Grandeur a little different.
What inspires you to write the lyrics and the music for the albums?
You know, the music itself is kind of an inspiration to me. I listen to the raw track with no vocal, and I don't have any ideas, and I just listen to the track, and I just say, what visions am I getting from this song? You know, what does this song mean to me? And also, is there anything going on in my life? Did I see something? Did I read something interesting that really goes along with the feeling I get from the song? It's kind of strange, but then I just kind of let the song speak to me, and then I speak back with the lyrics. But it all comes from the music with us. I don't really have many songs where I write the lyrics first and say, put a song to this. I always just work off the music. That's kind of it.
And if the music of Sabotage, Circle to Circle, has anything in common, what do you think it is?
You know,
most in common?
It had a lot more in common in the early days when I was writing the songs with John and Chris. And you definitely could see that commonality. As we've gone on the last 3 albums, I see it just kind of getting further and further apart. I can't really compare too many things to Sabotage in these last couple of albums. But if you want to say in the recent stuff, what's the most like Sabotage? I would probably say it's kind of hard to get away from, even though, you know, Mitch, our bassist, he plays the piano on some of our piano tracks. I think every time we hit the piano, that's kind of the common thing. Even though it's not really the thing John would play, but I think the fact that the instrumental piano is so prevalent in the Sabotage music, every time we play a little bit of a piano thing in Circle to Circle, I still think that to me is the most that you could compare. You know, just that sound. But otherwise, it's kind of getting to be a lot different.
And who invited you to join Sabotage?
I got invited by, I was found by Chris Oliva's guitar tech. His name was Dan Campbell. He used to be involved in the management of Circle to Circle. He's gone on to do other things now, but he found me. He introduced me to Chris Oliva and his wife at the time, the late Dawn Oliva, and John Oliva at the same time. I would say that I still give a lot of credit to the late Dawn Oliva. Chris's wife was kind of really instrumental in getting me the band, because she kind of just said, Chris, this guy, Zach, I love his tape. She just said she was very adamant about, you know, having me in the band, and she was a big influence on Chris to say, no, we got to go with this Zach guy, you know, when they started looking at other guys. So she always let me know that. I fought for you, and you know, she's no longer living either. She died a few years ago. But I still give her some of that credit, you know, even though it sounds funny. But you know, it was really John and Chris just liking me, and we just liked each other so much. And you know, Paul O'Neill really had to be involved too. I had to go to Paul O'Neill's house in Queens, New York. I was living in Boston at the time, playing with a band, and using those demos from that band, Wicked Witch, is basically what got me the Sabotage gig. So I had to go to Paul's house, and basically he pulled out an acoustic guitar and says, sing to me. I'm on his couch. So that was a strange kind of audition, but a very effective audition. And I was pretty nervous for that, when you're just sitting there with Paul O'Neill and it's me on a couch and him playing acoustic guitar. Do you know any Beatles? So he'll play a Beatles song. Then I'm like, holy crap. He's like, pretty good, man. And I was nervous. I just was about to pass out, to tell you the truth. I was 25 years old at the time. But it was a combination of all those guys that all those elements kind of got me in Sabotage.
Okay.